I used to tell myself I wanted a better life, new workout routine, new business idea, new system, whatever it may be, but nothing would change. I did this for years before I realized what the problem was, and once I understood the neuroscience behind it, I understood how to break out of this pattern. By the end of this video, you'll understand what it takes to stay consistent, and it has nothing to do with willpower. I'll show you the 3 phases of change, and if you're failing one of them, how to fix it, and identify which phase you're failing. This took me from the lowest point in my life, doing nothing, sitting around, to actually following through with my goals. So this is what happens when you start strong and then quit after. Your brain isn't driven by reward, it's driven by predictability. And what that means is when you do a habit, let's just use a bad habit as an example. You take drugs. Your dopamine drops below baseline, as in you get less enjoyment from the activity each time you do it. The first hit feels euphoric, the 100th feels dull, trash. It doesn't feel close to the first hit. So what does your brain do? Your brain chases familiarity. Your brain chases the cue that it knew reliably led to the reward. And the worst part is your brain prioritizes what's easy and familiar. Your brain sees danger in new things because, of course it does. You're not going to want to try a new berry in the wilderness back in the day, right? You're not going to want to risk death for no reason. There's no cause that justifies that. And finally, you get better at avoiding hard things the more you avoid them because of neuroplasticity. So the more you do something, the easier it gets, which works against you as well. Thus, the real question, what makes someone act at all? And what keeps them motivated to keep going? So here are the phases of change. There are 3 phases. Phase 0 is ignition. You need this before you can even do phase 1. Before you act, something has to make staying the same emotionally unacceptable. Like you can't live through this reality anymore. You have to change your life. Ignition can come from 4 things. 1, an identity rupture. This isn't who I want to be. 2, a crisis. And FTE is what I call a fuck this event. It's basically what it sounds like. Something that makes you say, I'm done. 3, forced adaptation. You move, you get a new job, you move to like a new dorm, something like that. It forces you to adapt. Humans are very good at adapting once they sense crisis. So here's how it goes. Phase 1 is execution. Can I actually move? So once ignition happens, the spark is fragile unless you have something really traumatic. If action feels too costly, you're not going to want to do it because your amygdala, so your fear center, what makes you afraid, this is what kept us alive back in the day. This will flag new situations, which I already outlined earlier, as dangerous. Phase 2, maintenance. Will I keep going? So this is where consistency either collapses or falls. For maintenance, the general rule of thumb is you just have to kind of do it. You have to figure out mental tricks to just keep going because it will get easier over time, I promise you. Your brain is programmed to make things you do often easier. That is the entire point. So number 1 is task mapping. I went over this briefly. This is just where you visualize the situation, you visualize the steps you need to take to do the situation. If you're going to get ready for the gym, you say, okay, maybe I'll set an alarm, I'll roll out of bed, I'll get ready, or I'll shower, get ready, and then I'll put on my shoes, I'll walk or I'll drive, I'll pick up my keys, etc. You'll get to the gym and I'll do this workout. Very easy to understand. This removes ambiguity and it just makes it easier for you to follow through on the action. So next is progressive overload, but you can technically skip this step if your ignition event is so painful that you just want to work till you drop. Most people won't be able to do this, and even if they can, it's not something that you can maintain for a long enough period of time. This is why I suggest progressively overloading. Think of this analogy. If you have like a dragon and then you have a 3-headed skeleton, if you know what I'm talking about, you have like a skeleton underneath that, etc. There's bosses per each level. If you run at the strongest boss with like no gear, no nothing, which is what you are right now, you're unequipped, right? You've been in a rut for so long, you think you can run and just be, if you could have done this, you would have, right? So the point is, take it one step at a time. Do the least amount that it's extremely difficult to fail. You've accomplished something. Next, take it one step further, and then after that, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder. Before you know it, it's so easy to do, you don't even have to think about it. Additionally, don't overcorrect. If you miss 10 push-ups, don't do 20 the next day, right? Just do the 10. The key principle for this point is consistency over intensity. Hopefully you got value out of that. As always, have a great day. Like, sub, like the other YouTubers say. Take care.